Hey guys, Tbull. Today we got a game in the Lenin for a Tier 6 Soviet destroyer. Plays pretty similarly to the majority of the Soviet destroyers. Got more functional torps, though. We got longer range torps on these, so that's the main difference. But I get a lot of people asking for tips on that particular line of ships. They've gotten buffed, so I think they're stronger than they were. They're still not the easiest ship to play. But we got a pretty interesting game here on Shards. We got some good plays here, and we got some suspect plays on my part. So we're going to go over all that. Opening play here, though, B. Now, we're going to make an interesting move here. This is one of those situations where 90% of the time, players are going to make the exact same move, especially destroyers. They're going to pull forward. On my case, I'm going to sit on the west side of that island there, and then the north destroyer, assuming he's there, he's going to sit on the east side. That's the usual play. Like fault line, if you know the usual play that people make, you can kind of exploit it. So we're making a little bit of a risk here, but I did want to try this play out, and we're zooming forward here. And this is with, I'm hoping to catch the destroyer point blank range coming around here, because like right on the other side of that island, usually they'll park there and sit there. Akatsuki, if he's sitting there nosing towards us, he's not going to have the torpedo threat. We could potentially gun him down. We already see some smoke back there, so we checked the roster very quickly, see what ships it was. It could either be the destroyer or there's British cruiser Leander there. So we're keeping an eye on the twist and track, the little white half moon thing there, and torping that smoke. Not spotted by the destroyer, so at this point in time, we don't know where he is. We can check above C. We got 2 ships spotted there. 3 ships spotted north of A, so we know he's not north of A, but he could be north of C, or he could be north of B here. So we want to keep an eye on that. We're moving back and forth here. We don't want to be sitting still. We're pretty close to the enemy here. If the guy comes out of the smoke, he's going to notice us. But we're keeping movement going multiple directions just in case torps come. And note a couple torp hits, and we've zoomed in, saw where it was, and follow-up shots. Extra damage there. So it's another blind fire shot. Usually when you're blind firing ships in the smoke like that, you're going to be shooting where their gunfire is emanating from. But if you got torpedo strikes like that, you can also blind fire where the splash hits on those. So a little bit of extra damage there. And note, now we're capturing the base. Whoever was on there decided that's not for them. They're going to get out of there. And we can deduce that was most likely the Leander because it was a multiple torpedo strike, low 20,000 damage. So pretty devastating. Most destroyers aren't going to survive that. So it's a pretty safe assumption. We got the Leander here. And as we continue to cap the base and the smoke dissipates there, we are able to confirm. Get some speed going here. We got the speed boost, and we're going to get the first shot or 2 advantage on this. So it's worth taking the shot. If the heat comes on, we can always pop the smoke, disengage. But we want to get rid of the ship before he's got the opportunity to disengage there. Take him down, and now we're zooming forward. We're getting spotted over here. We got the Grouch B in our firing range. Line of sight to him, so he's for sure spotting us. It's not the battleship in the back that above B you can see is out of the firing ring. Also possible we got the destroyer over here. Now that we've got 2 more ships, we got 2 ships sighted north of B, so we're pretty sure the destroyer is over here at this point in time. Grouch B, broadside, go ahead and switch over to the AP. Don't sleep on the Soviet destroyer AP. Pretty solid. And you got good long range performance. Unlike the Germans where it doesn't really do that well often at range. Good damage on that German destroyer AP shells, but sometimes the AP penetration's not there. Not as big of an issue here. We got higher velocity shells, easier to hit, so try that AP whenever you get broadside targets. If he's going to go ahead and angle like that, we're going to go ahead and switch back to the HE. Assume it doesn't turn out, we're kind of holding on to that shot just to see what happens and potentially get some more damage. But we want to kill the Grouch B. We definitely are aware of that destroyer. And note where we kind of blind torp right at the edge of that thing. We could even tighten that a little bit more towards that island. I think some of those torps just kind of spread out in the randomized dispersion with that torp. But that was basically, we're hoping that Akatsuki was going to zoom around the island with eyes of torping the smoke. He saw there was smoke over here, so he wanted him to rush us and clip him with those torps. Didn't hit, but we're still keeping an eye on the twist and track, and he's still in our mind. We're going to make sure nothing suspicious is going on. And again, backing forth and backing up, going back and forth, staying in motion. We want to have some speed when those torps are ready. Again, switch over to the AP here, broadside eyes now. Now this ship, if we're hitting in the in the hull. You can see anything that hits the hull, no damage. So we're aiming more for superstructure here. Graf Spee, it's not like we're going to get citadels reliably on that one at range, but we can hit the hull, deal a lot of damage. Not the case with the Gneisenau. Any battleship with the destroyer AP, and generally you're going to want to pepper superstructure rather than the hull itself. But we're combining our damage with the teammates, and we're doing a lot of damage. This guy, if you've been keeping an eye on the damage counter, it's gone way up there, up to 52,000. So in my mind, it's a pretty good start to the game in terms of what I'm doing. We're continuing to get spotted there, trying to blind fire that gap, assuming the destroyer might be coming through there. There he is spotted, so we kind of had a pretty good idea of where he was. But now we're going in for the kill. You know, we got B. We want to resolve this side over here very quickly. This is where our numerical advantage lies, and the guys on A, they're going to get beaten down given enough time. So we want to resolve this quickly, kill the destroyer, one destroyer per side. So this is an important play here. We do want to come out on top in this engagement, and doing so, that'll allow us to get C, and it'll allow us to control the vision game and the torpedo threats. So, you know, extremely important play. Anytime you got the destroyers squaring off, a lot of times that's going to decide the game right then and there. We got some ships over here supporting. You can see the guy to the north. He's kind of blocked by the island. But we do have a cruiser to our west and a battleship to the south here. Expected torpedoes. And as soon as we gave them just a little bit travel time to come towards us, then we did a hard turn the opposite direction. Easy to juke. You know, whenever you're in a situation where you know those torpedoes are most likely coming in, just go ahead and turn the opposite direction. It'll really get them to cry out in anguish, and you'll dodge the salvo while you're at it. Akatsuki, now he's starting to feel the heat a little bit. You can see he's not really returning fire with the guns. That's allowing us to take a massive advantage in terms of HP. We got about 15k. He's got about 2,000 or 3,000 left. So we're continuing to put the pressure on here. We're using our speed. Pop the speed boost again. And this ship, the Leningrad, the Russian destroyers in general, we got a little bit of giddy up in our step. So we're we're trying to close the distance here. Keeping an eye on the twist and drag. Now I'm assuming he's trying to squirt to the south, a little bit to the west, trying to get away from us. You know, that's only so much you can do. So we're going to put some torps out there. Don't worry about aiming these things. Just get them out there. You can see on the map, we're not going to have any possible torpedo target for the next 4, 5, 6 minutes. Go ahead and throw them out there. You never know. If they don't hit them, your accuracy goes down by a minuscule amount, and nobody cares about that. But if you do hit them, or if they distract them, forcing him to not focus on shooting back at you, but rather dodging, any of those outcomes are, you know, positive. So throw him down there. Atlanta almost squirted off the base there. It was making me a little bit nervous because then we would have had to turn back and capture that base ourselves. Luckily, he slammed on the brakes and did capture that. Now, the play, we're calling it right there. Go ahead and defend B. We got the flank. We got C. We're going to be returning the force from the east back into the middle of the map. So they're going to rely on me for spotting. You can see we got a couple nice islands in the middle there surrounding B. If I get into a good position spotting-wise, we're going to be able to sight these ships, and if our teammates understand how to utilize the cover, then they're going to be able to bomb on them without taking any return fire. That is the advantage of having the one destroyer on your team, no destroyer on the other team. You control the vision game. So we're moving into B here. We're keeping an eye on the deployment. Everyone's kind of in the southwest. So as soon as we change our audio down to the Soviet man, then we're going to go ahead and adjust our course and start going to the southwest. Initially, I was going to get into the middle of the map and make sure these guys weren't able to push in too aggressively, get some torpedoes down there to slow them down. But just due to the fact that we do have a couple ships in the southwest that need help, and that's where the brunt of the force is on their team, we are going to make that turn and redeploy over there. But you got to understand, you know, look at the score here. We got one ship advantage. We got 150 point lead, 160 point lead, whatever it is. We are not in the need to do anything aggressive. All we have to do is defend B at this point in time. They can't get to C with the amount of time left on the game, so we don't have to worry about defending C, and the enemy cannot spawn behind you. I know that's going to be a surprise to some of the backline battleships that play the game, but they can actually spawn behind you. They can only come from where they are located currently on the map, so you don't have to worry about covering behind you. So we're just going to move forward here, get into B, and go ahead and start bombing on these guys. Now, Fiji, I was tempted to spam the radio and be like, "Get back," just so you would understand the error of the ways of his ways. That is, but at no point in time, he was. If he dealt a little bit more damage before he died, good. But he was basically surrounded. There was no chance in hell that he was going to survive that. So we laid off the radar there. Mutsu coming in now. We're going to get some torps on him. And I'm tempted to plop down here, get the smoke, and then bomb on him. Because that's a very tempting thing to do. But keep in mind, I'm hoping these guys are utilizing the island cover. Arizona's coming around now. He's not going to use it as well. But we got the Atlanta that's definitely going to be relying on that, assuming he's playing well. And we got another battleship back there. So me firing the guns right now, getting spotted, taking damage, that would be a problem if we're doing it in the open. And plopping that smoke down, that's a problem. That relieves us of our ability to spot these ships. And this is extremely important. This might be something that you're watching saying, well, this is really boring or whatever. This is a clutch play. This is a play that most destroyer players aren't going to make. A little bit greedy there. I'm thinking, well, if we kill that guy, we kill a couple more, maybe we get the Kraken. That was a bad shot there. We don't want to replicate that. But the spotting was fine because, we were basically at an unexpected angle where they're not really going to be thinking about destroyer spotting there. They're not really in a good position to rush us. And we can effectively spot the entire lane moving from A to B there. So if I wanted to just stay where I was for the remainder of the match and just spot, I think that would have been a pretty solid play. Why I'm moving forward here is we got the battleship Arizona moving through B, so we can expect him to get focused and die. They're going to have 4 ships shooting him simultaneously. We got another battleship who looks like he's coming through the gap. And the Atlanta's frankly been making me a little bit nervous. I keep looking on the map and it looks like he's sticking through the gap there. So based on what my team's doing, I'm not viewing this situation as reliably in the bag. Okay, we still got the 2 cap advantage. They're still going to have a hard time getting on B with the destroyer here. But if they wipe out my teammates and I miss a torpedo salvo, they can get in that cap and then we're in trouble. So that's why I moved forward there. Risky play because now we're getting spotted. You can see on the map there what's spotting us. Well, we're shooting our guns, but I think I was a little bit worried about the York. I don't know. The York is going to cause major problems for us. Anytime there's a York, and maybe you noticed that earlier, I was pinging the cruisers, hoping my team would kill those guys. But the York in particular, York is a problem. German cruisers, anytime you're in a destroyer, you don't want to get near those guys. We're going to see just exactly what we're talking about here. Colorado broadside, though, we do switch to the AP. And check out the damage we're pumping out here. Now, I think he's going to drop spot here as soon as his 20-second shot cooldown goes on. You can see there, we're in the smoke. He was under a smoke fire penalty. That's why we briefly spotted him. Same thing for that ship right there, the California. So now that they both didn't fire for 20 seconds, their smoke fire penalty dissipates. And then because I'm in the smoke, nobody's spotting them. I'm forced to move forward here. So kind of a waste of a smoke there. Should have probably kept it for disengagement purposes, but we wanted to put some pressure on there and keep these ships away. We got to keep them out. York coming in here though, and that's the one I'm going to keep pinging him. We're going to see the radar or the radio go crazy there. I would spam that about 50,000 more times if the game would let me. You guys can think that's annoying or whatever. That guy can win the game. If he kills me and I'm already in this position for far too long, this is where the mistakes are coming. This is where the bad play commences. It was a little bit shaky for the last 2 minutes. Not necessarily lights out in terms of the decision making. Right now, we're in trouble. And the fact of the matter is, if that Atlanta's got a radar, I'd love to see him pop that, get that York spotted, get some shots on him. But you can see as soon as we're flushed out of that smoke, and we're forced to get out of there because the York's pushing in with that strong range sonar, and that's it. Once he spots us with that, especially if we can't see him, then it's lights out. We're going to have the whole team shooting at us. Luckily, he hits us with 1 torp there. We're currently spotted by the plane due to the fact that we shot, and since that's going to be the case for the foreseeable future, we're just going to try and pile on with this California and get him down. At this point in time, we're kind of flushed and things aren't going exactly how I'd like it, but, if we can get some damage out there, then if by chance we die, they only got a minute left, they'll make it a little bit harder for them to wipe out our team if we get some ships off there. California does go down. We take a wicked shot there. Most of it was mod damage, though, so immediately pop the damage con, and then disengage is the order of the day. Gonna take another shot or two as we fade off in the distance, but we're just gonna get behind this island here, get out of range, make sure nothing crazy goes on. We don't want to get detonated or anything wild, and then, you know, I'd like to see this torp drop here. I kind of missed this. If I had noticed I had 3 more seconds on the torp, I would have slammed on the brakes, shot the torps, even though they're probably not enough time to get them, but might as well take that shot. But we got clear. We're safe. Sail off into the distance. No style points needed, because that game was a little bit closer than it really needed to be. So a little bit dicey at the end there. I thought the opening half of the game was really solid, in my opinion. I think most of the decision making around the A to B gap, or the gap between A and B, was pretty good, and then the end was a little bit dicey there. So hopefully you guys picked up some tips from that one. If you did like that video, please hit the thumbs up. New to the channel, consider subscribing. Lots of World of Warships coming all the time. Questions, comments, leave them below. Love to hear from you guys, and see y'all later. Peace.